All right, welcome back, everyone. Connecting Dots 2 here. We are Monday, April the 10th, 2017, and a great, big, huge announcement. I've decided I've had enough of these fraudsters on YouTube when it comes to Fukushima. I decided I'm going to go back out there and do the testing. This is what everybody wants. I don't know if you read my comments, but it's one of the big things you keep hearing over and over again. People want testing. They want results. There's a lot of people interested in Fukushima, or especially on YouTube anyhow, I should say. There's a lot of people interested. There's a lot of new people who are just arriving now to this whole event. And unfortunately, when they arrive here on YouTube, they are greeted with, the fraud and disinformation gang on YouTube. And most of their videos, in case you haven't noticed, or if you don't watch them anymore or whatever, it hasn't changed. It's all about fear-mongering. This is what they do. They have very few facts. Fear-monger, fear-monger, fear-monger. No testing, no data, no results. And what we are shown from some of the people that do the Fukushima, most of the fear-mongering, they're using old articles, old data, old test results to try and prove the point. Well, you know, if this is the way it was back in 2011, just a month or two after the meltdown, well, it must be exactly the same now. In fact, it must be worse because it's been ongoing. This is what we're hearing all the time. So if it's ongoing, then you'd think that all these people that make all these videos on Fukushima, they would have some tests, some data, some results. No, we have nothing. So hang tight here as I get into this this video. I'm going to make a plea, if you want. I'm going to ask you if you have some funds, if you're willing to help out. If you don't send me a penny, please. I don't want to hear about it. If you can't afford it, don't send me a dime. I'm going to do this on my own if I have to. In fact, this is something I did back in 2011. We'll get into that shortly. This is not the first time I have done a tour where I bought some instruments and gone on the road and did some testing. It's exactly what I did back in 2011 when this whole event took place. It's something many of you probably aren't aware, but as I said, we'll get into that a little later on. I want to give you a taste of what really, really spurred me, and also to because there's a lot of people, when they come across my videos, they're like, hey man, you work for the nuclear industry, you're a shill. I get it all the time, honestly. And unfortunately, the one thing, or I should say fortunately, one of the things that many of these people that call me a shill is that they have an interest, and that's good. You have an interest in Fukushima, you want some information. It's unfortunately that you've got hooked up on, maybe Kevin Blanch or Dana Durnford. And if you listen to those two, hang tight, because we're going to get into how this whole scam all began back in August of 2014, when we're all told the Pacific Ocean is dead. In fact, I'll pull up an article from Kevin Blanch. He just uploaded a video not even 30 minutes ago. Again, it's 99% dead. No testing, no results, but according to him, it's dead. Well, we'll see how dead it is, and you'll find out at the same time how they've scammed people on YouTube, good-hearted people like yourself that wanted the results, you wanted the data. These people have donated way back from 2014. Like I said, if you're new around here, I'm not. I've been on YouTube since 2009. And when Fukushima took place, I happen to live here on the West Coast on Vancouver Island. I was on that event from the moment the tsunami hit the plant. I knew, Houston, we may have a problem here. Long story short, people have been donating money since 2014 because they believe that the Fukushima radiation was responsible for every death that took place, every article, every seal, you name it, whatever happened to die along the West Coast, it was always Fukushima. You know it, I know it, we've seen the videos. They haven't stopped, in fact. Like I said, Kevin Blanch just posted another video again, just half an hour ago. Again, it's 99% of the salmon population has been wiped out. It's done. It's the death. Well, we'll see here. Let's go see some articles. We'll make some common sense of it. You guys want some data. You want some common sense. You want somebody who's not going to fearmonger you and give you some information. So I'm going to go out here with this video and show with you how they fearmonger again, and show you the data. We'll debunk them using the results and make some common sense of their argument that everything is dead in the Pacific Ocean. And then at the same time, I'll get into some of the instruments that I already bought, because like I said, I'm set up to be honest with you, a good portion of the purchases of the instruments that are needed to do this tour, I've already got them. I did this back in 2011. Like I said, I'm not new around here, so that's going to save a lot of cost. And one of the big things that if you've been watching Dana Durnford, let's get into that clown right now, because essentially that's what got me stirred. How we need to do this. We need some truth out here on YouTube. Enough of these guys pulling out these old articles and trying to scare the bejesus out of you. Enough. So I decided after listening to this video that I'm going to go out and do the tour again. I need it. You guys need it. And unlike Dana and the rest of these people, forget about showing my face. You guys don't want to see a pretty boy. Trust me. You're not interested in that. What you want is the data, the results. Right? Right. That's what I come here on YouTube anyways. That's why I always look for results. I try to stay away from videos where people only provide their face and no articles at all. So like I did back in 2011, I'm going to do the testing. I don't show my face. It's more about what is the dial saying? What do you see on my graph? That's what's important. So as I did in 2011, you'll see nothing but graph and testing. It's not about showing my face and scaring the bejesus out of you. So this latest video by Dana is like, okay, this enough is enough with the bullshit. I'm going to play this short portion of it. I got to be careful. He watches my videos. There's nothing he would love more than to hit me up on a copyright strike. So I can only play a very small portion of this, 1 hour and almost 14 minutes of fear-mongering using old articles. But what's important is this is going to re-emphasize that those of you that do listen to Dana and you don't like what I do, at least you'll understand where I'm coming from and why I'm going out to do this tour. Because Dana, as you already know, does not do any testing. Dana has never done a single test. Dana has been raising money since August of 2014 when he was telling everyone that he had taken a bunch of pictures. In fact, he hadn't taken the pictures, and you'll see that in the video I'm about to share with you later on. It was his friend that took the pictures. And he came out asking for donations, and then he was supposed to go out on the ocean for 6 to 9 months, we were told, and everyone was like, wow, a real scientist. He's going, well, he wasn't really a scientist. He admitted that he was just a regular diver. And he says, I'm going to go out there and do the test. I'm like, oh, right on, He never did a single test. So this is the big thing that's going to convince those of you that listen to his garbage that he spews out, or okay, assuming it's not garbage, okay, the good information that he puts out, you'll understand after what he's about to say here in the next couple of minutes why it makes sense, why you need someone to do some testing. So as I go out there and do the testing, and I'm going right to his hometown, oh yeah, I won't be going ding dong, hello, how are you? Because there's nothing he'd love more than have me charge on some type of harassment or bullshit like that, when in fact I'm the one that's actually holding back from having him charged again. That's the joke of it. That's the funny thing. The police officer wants me to press the charges against him. Not just the police officer, the Crown attorney, the first day I ever spoke to him and told him what Dana's been doing here is like, oh, you need to speak to the investigating officer. So after speaking to the investigating officer, he wants me to hit him up with charges. I'm telling you guys, I can knock this guy almost right off of YouTube, but I'd rather go right up to his hometown. And because if I just go and press charges, everyone will say, you're a shill, blah, blah, blah. I know already how you guys are going to work. So what I'm going to do instead is I'll be very professional about it. I'll actually go up to his hometown and we'll investigate everything I did back. Do you guys ever see the video where I went back last summer? No? Well, you may want to check that. I've already been to his hometown, so I've already debunked them back then, but we're going to go back in. Again, we need to go again. Why? Well, you'll hear, because according to Dana, everything is still there. Nothing has gone away. In fact, listen to this. This is what he says. Listen to this. Hopefully it's not too loud here.
The apex predator are all emaciated? Oh yeah, this is going to turn out really good the next year or so, I'm sure. Children playing on dirt with huge numbers of radiation. 29 million in the rain. 29 million. Do you think it only rains once? Do you think there was the only disposition for once? It'd still be an unbelievable fucking nightmare. This is daily. It's the end of the planet as we know it. It's an extinction event. We won't even fight for our future. We won't even try. Ah, Dana, is all done. Not much we can do. Shut up and get off my site. Don't ever come back. Defeatism is not something that I'm familiar with. We go to battle. We go to war. We fight for our existence. We had a meteorite coming at our planet. That's what we'd be doing. We had alien invasion. We all be on board. You can't see it or smell it or hear it or taste it or feel it or pick it up or throw rocks at it. So ignore it? You fucking morons.
Okay, so we're not morons. We're not ignoring it. However, you know, we want more than just old articles from 2012 and 2011 to try and fear the bejesus out of us. And you may have heard him just say how, well, you know, it didn't just rain once. You think that's the only dropping? Well, then that's what I did back in 2011. I did a cross-Canada radiation tour. I essentially was chasing storms. And did I find Fukushima radiation? Absolutely, I did. I know one time it was absolutely verified by Health Canada. I found it in the outskirts of the city of Calgary, Alberta that morning. I think it was about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I can't remember. It was in the morning when I was rolling, and actually it was probably earlier than that. It was more like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I had it verified in the news roughly about 3 weeks later when Health Canada released, was written up in a paper in Calgary, how they had found Fukushima rain in one of their Geiger counters that's set up in a field. So that's the difference with myself and the Geiger counter that was set up in the field, is that, well, you know, you got one Geiger counter that's set up at one location in that province, and you got to hope that it falls. It rains out, you know, there's a fall out there. Well, I spent the entire summer chasing rain. And will I do that this summer? Absolutely. But I'm going to try and do some sampling. I'm going to do some air sampling. It's one of the things I did back then. But according to Dana, this is still coming out daily, every day. So when I do the testing, well, we should be able to find some Fukushima rain. I don't think we will, but I'll do it anyways. So I'll get into the instruments I have, because that's a part of the biggest thing. And again, I'll mention that I have a website, connectingdots1.com. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because many of you don't have a Geiger counter. And on this website, there's a thread here in the Fukushima. I'm highlighting it right now. If you go click on that thing, it'll bring you to a series of other links. So depending where you live in the world, you can click on it and it'll bring you to an area where there's other independent people that happen to have Geiger counter set up. So this one here in the USA is from the Radiation Network. And these are individual people like you and I who have taken an interest in following Fukushima rain. Fukushima or radiation specifically. So what they've done is they've hooked up a Geiger counter, and you can join us, by the way, if you're interested in doing this. I've talked about this website before. Whoops, see daisy. Down below here, they have a bunch of compatible Geiger counters, so you can search every one individually, find out which one is within your price range, and go from there. And you can start monitoring your stuff. You know, this is refreshed every minute. So you have an opportunity if you want to join in there. So I live here. We're on the top left-hand side, where you can see the 13 on that little island. That's where I live, right on that little island. I live right at the corner. So I'll be going on the island. We're going to go on a tour, folks. And, you know, wait till you see, if you've never been to Vancouver Island, whoa. Okay, I'm going to show you some beautiful places here. I've been here for what, roughly 13 years now. It's wow, some beautiful places. Anyways, it's all about the radiation. That's my main goal, but you know, it doesn't rain every day, and I can't be testing every single moment. So while I'm touring from one spot to the next, I'm gonna pull over on certain locations and pull up my video camera and upload the video, because I want the video, when you guys see the you know, my results, I just don't want it to be nothing but readings. That's boring, right? This is essentially what I did back in 2011. I just upload videos. I'd only upload the videos that had readings in it. So I spent most of the summer, unfortunately, in 2011 on the road for 2.5 months chasing storms and fallout. And it was kind of boring. I didn't upload a lot of videos. I did a lot of driving. And you may recall at the end of that whole tour, I ended up rolling my truck over on the side of the mountain, and I broke my neck in 3. Really rough ride. So that's part of the reason, by the way, I'm asking for if anyone can afford to send some donations. If you can't afford it, don't bother sending me a penny, okay? I'll do it with or without your help. So, and I've already got a motorhome lined up, because that was part of my big expenses back in 2011 when I did the tour. Was, you know, you need a place to shower up and get going first thing in the morning. So on occasions I'd sleep in my truck, but other times I've slept in hotels, and that costs quite a bit of money. So I found myself a cheap motorhome, and I'm going to get on it. I hope so. Anyways, I've already found a place to park it in the city here. So that's worked out quite great. And like I said, I already own most of the instruments. And right now you're looking at the Ludlam Model 3A. It's, as you can see, it's their a best-selling general purpose handheld analog rate meter with an addition of an audible alarm. It's known for its accuracy and long-lasting dependability. And features, I think, where is the features? Oh no, in specifications. There we go. So applications, alpha, beta, and gamma surveying. Like I said, I didn't buy a piece of junk. When I bought this thing back in 2011, they were retailing for just a little under $3,000. They've come down in price recently, I've noticed. And another, because this one is an analog. So what I did is I bought two, because I know how it is on YouTube. You know, even myself watching videos, I want to make sure that what the guy is showing me is accurate, you know. So I bought two Geiger counters. I bought this expensive one, and with the Geiger counter, I actually bought a U.S. military probe. It's the DT53D/PDR27. Anyways, not that that matters a whole lot, but I'm just letting you know that this is the probe that I have. I don't have the lead shield at the end, unfortunately. That part broke off, unfortunately, and that's... Anyways, I do have a really good Geiger counter, and this probe alone, well, back in the day was selling for $300. Like I said, prices have dropped down, because that was $285 US back when I wanted it in 2011. Now, the next Geiger counter I have, you may have seen this one before. Miss Milky the Clown has uploaded videos trying to call me a shill, a liar, a fraud, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, back then, if you saw the videos, and if not, I'll show you in a listing in a second here. This is the Geiger counter that I used principally every day. It was on all the time. It has a USB port, so it's you know, it's easy on the power. It wasn't killing batteries, whereas the other one has two large batteries. You got to open this little casing here. Two big, large D-cell batteries go in there. I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a pig on batteries, except it is a lot bigger and bulkier, and the soaks is very nice and small and handy. And you may recall back in 2011 when I did the tour, before I even left, I drove up to a specific place. You remember that? Tofino. Well, I'm going back up there, guys. If you've never seen Tofino, Long Beach, beautiful place. I'll start off the exact same stretch of beach here on the West Coast as I did back in 2011. And if you may recall back then, what I did at that beach is I set up both Geiger counters with a sample. I have a sample, a cesium-137 sample, and I did a calibration in front of everyone so they could see that both my digital Geiger counter as well as the analog Geiger counter, although they have the express radiation in two different type of readings, it didn't matter. They both had the exact same reading, and that's important. So I hopped on the tour. I'll do the same thing this year. But, you know, I'm all about the data, the information. You guys want information. I know how it is. You're out there chewing up YouTube videos, and you want facts. You want somebody that sounds credible, at the very least, right? Well, not only do I sound credible, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not kidding you. Miss Milky the Clown at one time used to actually mirror my videos. She was probably one of my biggest fans. And then by 2012, it became clear that she was part of that disinformation club. So you may have seen here, she's now turned around. She's removed all the videos that she uploaded of mine. But what she did is she built up a playlist, and it's called Connecting Dots 2, Connecting Dots 3. Several Go Man, aka Louis Lamoureux, is a two-faced fraud, liar, and scammer. Just listen. Well, the thing is, there's no scamming in any of this stuff. What she was trying to do was make people sound, make me sound like, well, you know what? He was concerned back then and now he's not. No, that's not what I'm saying. I was concerned back then. I was very concerned back then. I was extremely concerned back then in the early days of the meltdown. We had it's like having a large bonfire and you're just downwind from it, and the bonfire was just lit up and there's a whole lot of smoke coming out. Well, you're really concerned that smoke's really affecting you. Man, there's a lot of smoke, right? Well, 5 years later, if that fire is still going, but it's burned out, there's not much going on, you're not going to get so frightened by that smoke. So I've lost that. She liked the fear in my voice. In fact, a lot of people like that. He sounds concerned and fear. Well, fear is no good. It puts you in a bad spot. So you got to be proactive about it. And that's why I took it upon myself back in 2011. As soon as I found out that the Canadian government had turned off the Geiger counters along the west coast here, we had 5 Geiger counters set up at different locations on top of buildings. They turned them off for 10 days and relocated the Geiger counters on the inside, in the interior of British Columbia. I'm like, whoa, we've got a major scam going on here. So I was concerned. I bought the Geiger counters. I went out, did the tour, and as you can see here, found, Edmonton. Like I said, that was the day, I believe, where I found this high levels in the rain. My Geiger counter doesn't allow me to isolate and name that isotope, which you may recall that is part of my goal here at Connecting Dots 2. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but I've been saying that for a long time. The PayPal button up here on the top right-hand corner, gamma spectrometer funding. I want to buy my next step up from the current Geiger counters is a Geiger counter that actually not only identifies and tells you how much, not only tells you how much and if it's there, but will identify the isotope. Boom. Then it'll be no question that I know what I'm reading because I have the Geiger counter that's telling me that this is cesium-137 or whatever the case may be, right? Obviously, it doesn't do every single isotopes, but it does in the hundreds of them. So that's my goal, a gamma spectrometer. However, in the meantime, I do have very good instruments and I will be using them and I will be taking video footage. This is one of the big things when I went up to Dana's home. One of the things he had been telling in all his videos is everything is dead. Well, we soon found out that everything wasn't dead. In fact, there was lots of life all around his hometown. So Edmonton sees high radiation, 1.14. Like I said, folks, I did it back in 2011. I'm not going to stop. We need some truth. We don't need people that only want to show their face and take a video camera and take video footage and tell you everything is dead. So there are my YouTube channels. My Connecting Dots one is gone. That's when I came out here in 2009. My backup channel was actually Connecting Dots 2. That was my backup. YouTube deleted my Connecting Dots 2 in 2012 because I became, essentially my subscription had doubled. I was almost nearing 8,000 subscribers because I was making these videos on Fukushima. And I was the only guy who had done a cross-Canada radiation tour who wasn't doing just atmospheric readings. I was doing fallout. I was telling folks, even dutchsinse back in the day, Dutch, in his comment section, Dutch, what are you doing? All you're doing is atmospheric. Fukushima is going to travel in the jet stream. You need to be chasing down the rain like I am. He refused to. He refused to, and it's become more and more obvious now, years later, how he's part of that club. I know even Dana himself has tried to go after him. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Dana is part of the fraud. I'm getting into that very shortly. So if you're new around here, hang tight. We're going to be speaking about how Jeff Palco was scammed out of his life savings by Dana Durnford and Kevin Blanch. Very sad. But first, let's get back to the tour. As I said, I live right here on Vancouver Island. I live in the city of Victoria. I'm not sure if you're aware of this location, so let's pull it up on the map right now. Okay, so here's a city of Victoria. You may have seen my videos in the past where I went right down to Dallas Road on this little stretch of beach. I don't know if you saw that video, but I only literally traveled from here to about there. That's it. Small stretch of beach. You can check the video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's in my Fukushima Day playlist. It's this one right here. I spent 29 minutes along my own coastline just to show people how much sea life there was there. And then you may recall 9 months ago, that's when I went right up to Dana's Beach. So we're going back up to Dana's Beach. Hang tight. If you haven't seen that one, I was busting him in 24 hours. I'm going to hang out a little bit longer in his hometown this time around because I said, I believe I'm going over with a Winnebago, so we're going to be able to chill out and not be in a rush this time around because even over there, you need a hotel room. You can't be sleeping in your car all the time, and it gives you a sore back and stuff. All right, so I'm going to start off my tour here in the city of Victoria. And the plan is to, I'm going to travel on the interior, along the coastline here of Vancouver Island because we're being told by Dana that the Strait of Juan de Fuca, I don't know if you heard about the Strait of Juan de Fuca, but it's world renowned for its ebb and flow tide. That's right. Big tide here, in and out. So we've been told that the reason that everything is dead up at Dana's hometown, right up here, is the fact that the radiation has been washing in and out because of this massive ebb and flow tide. So yeah, it's killed everything. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to we'll go for a tour here. We'll stop at these different locations and we'll do some reading. And eventually I plan on making it up to Tofino and Ucluelet. Oh, have you seen those places? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Like I said, if you've never been in this part of town, you're not going to want to miss this tour because let me tell you, the footage I'm going to come back with, I mean, this area is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful location. So we'll go out there and we'll see if everything's dead. I'll bring you some great footage. I know there's some starfish out there. I know there's a lot of all kinds of various fish. I've said before that I actually have a connection in Tofino, so I probably do some testing on some live fish. But then again, you know, I don't really have the proper, I don't have a gamma spectrometer. That's the whole purpose of the gamma spectrometer, folks. I have fish, I have connections at the fish factory in Tofino. The guys that go out to the ocean, commercial, and they pick up the fish and they bring it back here right to Tofino before it even gets to the shop. I have a friend of mine that works at the fish warehouse, and she's going to provide me with fish to test. But I need a gamma spectrometer, so that's a long-term goal. However, in the meantime, I will go up to Tofino and we'll take a look along the shoreline. And you may recall that Dana had a friend up here. Well, I happen to have did a little bit of research on his friend, and I know what shop he lives in. So we're going to drop into the shop and say, "Hey, how you doing, buddy? Do you remember you were telling everyone back in 2014 how everything is dead in Tofino? So how do you feel about it today?" I don't think his friend's probably going to want to answer. Honestly, Tofino is a very small town, and I've noticed that the guy has absolutely disappeared from YouTube. When I told him, I said, "Oh yeah, I got my surfer buddies up there." I said, "We're going to be dropping by to see what kind of garbage you sell in your shop." So I'm going to be dropping by. You know, we're not here to intimidate anyone. We're not here to get in any altercations. I just want to put them on the spot and say, "Hey, buddy, you told everyone everything was dead in 2014. We're now 2017. I just came back from your beach along your shoreline, and it's not dead. What do you have to say?" And I'll do it right on camera. Like, we'll put them on the spot. Put them on the spot. So my next stop is, well, we'll have to backtrack here and go right on over to Courtney. And from Courtney, we're going to take the ferry over to Dana's place, Powell River. Bada boom, bada bing. Have you seen that place? Have you been there? You're not missing a whole lot, I tell you. That's a small little community. Very petite, small, seriously, very small. Anyhow, long story short, I'm still going to go up there. You know, it's a good thing they got that paper mill, because if they didn't have the mill there, I don't even think the town would exist. You know, honestly, there's not much up there, folks. Anyways, we're going to go up there because you guys want some truth. And there's nobody else here who's going to do this stuff. And if I can go right up to his hometown and take some more footage of all these bugs and these birds. And do you remember all his videos, what he was saying, how everything was dead? Do you guys remember that? Oh, boy. Anyways, it's just going to be fun just proving to everyone that thinks it's dead. And we're going to go right up to his hometown and just make him look like an absolute fool again. Another year when everything is supposed to be dead, and here we are moving forward, and it's still very much alive. You know, and I shouldn't say every day, but gosh darn it, pretty darn often, at least every week, I get a new person that leaves a comment who's just woken up to the fact that these scammers, in this case, he's speaking, you know, specifically about Dana Durnford and Blanch, how they scammed Jeff Palco out of his life savings. This is a very sad story, and this is just another reason why I got to stay on top of it, because not only do we need truth, not only do you want the truth, but I also want the truth. I've got my own daughter lives here on Vancouver Island. She's just a teen. She's just a teenager. She didn't even understand the effects on her DNA. Anyways, long story short, we need some real truth, some real data. So I'm on it. I'm on it here, folks. And you know, Jeff Palco was another person. He also wanted the truth. So he donated shitloads of money to Dana. In fact, he didn't even donate the money. You may recall how this all went down. This was a temporary loan. He was loaning the money to Dana so Dana could buy a 24-foot long Zodiac to go on the ocean, a boat, that is, a 24-foot long Zodiac boat, to go out on the ocean and do some testing. We never had a single test. It's disgusting what these people have done. Anyways, you may realize the guy's asking, you know, how come there's no investigation into these people, how they scammed them? And I've said before that each case, because there's two separate cases. We have Dana Durnford, who is scammed roughly about $25,000, a little bit over, might be around $27,000. And then we have Kevin Blanch, who flat out scammed him for, well, we know of $18,500, and there's additional money, but those funds were given to him, so that's not really a scam. But nonetheless, we do know that he scammed him out of $18,500, and we have the dead man's own words on this one. I mean, you guys can't even fight us on this one. You people that call me a shill and a troll, you guys realize that Jeff Palco, the late Jeff Palco, did not even listen to my videos. He didn't even like me, in fact, because he had heard that I was, you know, pro-nuclear, which is an absolute lie. But, you know, this is what comes out of Dana's camp. Lie, lie, lie. No truth. Ban, ban, ban. So the cases, the family could not go after it because they were such small amounts. $25,000 to go after Dana Durnford. That's what Dana Durnford received from Jeff Palco. The only real paperwork that we had, and this is, you know, again, if you haven't heard about this, you're going to go watch these videos. It's going to wake you the hell up what's going on here on YouTube, okay? So what we do have is, you may recall how the family had sent me the bank statements that show that their son, the late Jeff Palco, had taken a lien on his home for $16,576. $16,000 of that went directly to Dana so Dana could buy this boat. And this is, you know, I'm not making this stuff up. These videos are out here. So if anybody wants to come out and see these videos, the guy, before he took his life, he made the videos, okay? And no, he didn't know he was going to take his life. He knew he had been scammed out of his life savings. He hadn't worked in over 8 years. He'd hurt himself on work. He was on heavy painkillers every day, morphine every single day for the last 8 years of his life. These people scammed him out of his life savings. He took the time and made videos to warn other people on YouTube who are interested in Fukushima what these people did to him. And then eventually, a month later, he took his life, the day before Christmas. because he couldn't even afford to buy his 16-year-old son a damn Christmas present. He was flat broke. Anyways, the reason why the family didn't go after it is because in each case, we only have Dana in for $16,000 legally on the boat part. To get a lawyer, and this is, people were asking me back when Jeff was also alive, well, why doesn't Jeff go after them? I'm like, well, you have to understand, lawyers want money, and just the retainer alone is several $1,000s. Jeff was flat broke, guys. He hadn't worked in 8 years. He was on a disability. He couldn't even afford to give the retainer to a lawyer to hire him. And then you have the problem that it was only $16,000. How much time will the lawyer waste in court, or shouldn't waste, but you know what I mean, before the case actually is resolved? And how much will be paid out to the lawyer at that point? Heck, it might be the entire $16,000. So he had a number one problem. He could not even afford to hire a lawyer. This is the biggest problem, because I've heard this time and time again. If he was scamming his life savings, why didn't go after him? He wanted to. Trust you me. Trust you me. Go listen to his videos. Go listen to the gentleman who took his life but warned you all what was going down. Okay, this is disgusting with this Thomas Ackerman accepting money from him. When Thomas is on YouTube telling people he sells paintings for over $50,000, $60,000 each. They accepted money after lying to a person on YouTube and telling him that the Pacific Ocean was dead. Are you aware of that? If not, hang tight. I'll show you the video in just a moment. So not only was it Dana and Thomas Ackerman, but it was also Kevin Blanch. Kevin Blanch received, like I said, over $18,500. This is an email, as you can see, from July 11, 2014, where the late Jeff Palco was actually asking Kevin Blanch, hey, I've contributed to date so far $18,500 towards this investment fund, more than any other mother tucker alive on this earth, you know, plus the other stuff that was for you to use as needed. What's the other stuff? It's more cash. Like I said, we only have proof that he at least lent out towards an investment fund $18,500. And he's asking at this point in the email on July 11th, where's my money? He never gave him a damn penny back, folks. He scammed him out of his life savings. Like I said, the videos are all there. It's up to you folks to get informed. You know, the reason why he lent the money as an investment fund is because Jeff had been told by Kevin Blanch, that's right, Kevin had told him that he was an ex-hedge fund investor. Yeah, ex-hedge fund manager. He was an ex-hedge fund manager. He was never an investor. He did stucco repair. He owned stuccodamage.com. The website is still up for sale, and it's the same gabbly boogly bullshit that he's saying now, is that you know, he's dying of cancer. This guy looks the same now as he did back then. Don't buy into the bullshit. Kevin Blanch is an absolute fraud, absolute scammer. Go watch the videos. They're posted on my website, folks. I'm going to leave you a link down below in the Show More tab of this video. You need to hear the dead man's own words. They scammed him out of his life savings. And then that's Thomas Ackerman, by the way. This is one of the YouTubers from 2014 who got very disgusted when she realized these people had scammed this fellow Canadian out of his life savings. So she screen captured the conversation on her cell phone so I could see what Kevin Blanch was responding in Thomas Ackerman's video. And this is what Kevin Blanch went and said. Can you see it? Yeah. What does he say? By the Jeff. He meant to say, by the way. By the way, Jeff owes me money. I never got any money. He meant from, it says form, from the liar. He cost me $1,000 by baiting me up there with his bullshit. It cost me $1,000 for my plane flight. He never paid shit. Like I said, so easily busted because we can see the checks that were sent. I got one of the checks at least for $6,000. We have the email down below that shows by July, Jeff was wondering, where's my $18,500 investment? This is disgusting what these people have done to him. So late Jeff Palco, the only reason why he lent that money was for results. He's just as interested as you was. I should say he was as interested as you are currently on Fukushima. He wanted the truth. He may have been on the disability, but the fact is he had a 16-year-old son. So he'd been feared. And this all started. Let's go back to the beginning here. Let's listen up to what he had to say back in August of 2014. Can you see it here on the bottom of your screen? Right here. I've highlighted it. August 2014. Beautiful Girl by Dana. Horror. Pacific Ocean. Well, it's now dead from the Fukushima radiation. Just listen to the garbage he was putting out back then.
Look at all the kelp and the algae. Kelp is algae. There's 600 species of it. All of those were missing except for 2. This was known as common kelp, also known as kelp weed. It's like popcorn. And the other one is a cabbage kelp. None of these that you see in the picture here were found in 200 kilometers. We're talking about a total annihilation of sea anemones. Now here's a good example of what I saw every day. We see no crows on the beaches, no eagles. We see no insects on the highways and on the beaches. So knowing all of that, and it doesn't stop there, we see no whelks. We see no sand dollars. We see no snails, the indigenous populated snails. And like once again, that was the picture of the whelks. But most importantly, at the low tide line, we don't see the sea anemones, and they usually attach to everything. And this is what I'm used to seeing my whole life as a commercial diver.
So he was a commercial diver who apparently was stuck on a wheelchair at this point by 2014. And the guy sitting next to him, do you notice the little smirk on him? You notice that little smirk? I don't know if you can see that guy's little smirk. Well, he's pretty impressed because he's the one that actually took all of these pictures. So in August 2014, we had no video camera. These 2 hose bags went along the beach, along his shoreline, and had the old guy in the background there who took the pictures, present them on Dana's show, and they both made these. Well, he didn't speak too much. You could hear it was Dana saying, we see no this, we see no that, we see no birds, we see no insects. Like I said, folks, if you really believe that bullshit, please take a couple of moments and go see this video. It's moments. Okay, I'm lying. It's an hour and 8 minutes long and 44 seconds, but at least it's going to wake you up to the amount of sea life that I saw on his beach within just 24 hours. So we're going back up there again this year, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun because this time we're going to take more video footage. We're going to hang out for a while. We're actually going to locate the street where Dana's mobile home is. Or I'm not going to go to the home. Remember, I don't want no problems with this son of a bitch, and there's nothing he'd love more to have me up on charges when in fact I'm the one who should be charging him. But there's nothing he would love more than that. So I've already been warned last summer from my lawyer to stay the heck away from his residence, and I will absolutely take his advice. So what we're doing is we're going to actually locate the street though to the mobile home, and we're going to park on that street, and we're going to do some readings because he's been telling everyone that on his street, in his hometown, there are readings of over 200 counts per minute. Whoa! In fact, you may recall he said his dog died was about less than a year ago, I guess. Dana was telling everyone the radiation was so high that his dog died. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. It's that high and your dog died? Why the hell don't you get out of there? He's not going to get out of there because it's not 200 and some counts per minute. So you people want some truth. Let's do this the proper way, and let's go right up to his hometown. We'll take some footage. You may remember I interviewed, he calls him, what's himself? Daniel. What's his name? Oh, Daniel. Anyways, if you go watch the videos from 2014, I actually... Terry Daniel. So Terry Daniel was actually featured on one of my videos. Well, he didn't actually show up. What I did is I contacted his ex-employer in Powell River, and we found out, get this. I just told you how Terry was the one that funded the initial tour, right? And in fact, if you go listen to the beginning of this video, this is not a secret. Dana admits to that. He says that my friend Terry Daniel is the one that's given me all the funds to go out on this initial expedition of 9 days along the Sunshine Coast. So the fraud started with the two of them together. Well, the fact of the matter is the fraud money to start this whole scam all started when Terry Daniel quit his job just a few months prior to, I guess, hooking up with Dana. Sorry, not Dana. Terry Daniel was actually what do you call him? A building manager. He received the rent. That's right, the rent money. Guess who picked it up? Cha-ching. Yeah. So what he did, the son of a bitch, him and his boss had this little thing. His boss lived in the city of Vancouver, miles away. They had this little thing that they had in the apartment building. They had an office, and that all cash was to be put in this drawer in the office. And the office door locked, of course. You don't want people coming in and out, right? And the only people who had the key was, guess who? Terry Daniel and his boss, right? Well, something happened. I don't know what happened, boss. Well, at least that's what he told his boss. He says, I put the rent money there, but the rent money is no longer there. Wow. That's right. Terry scammed him. So I interviewed his boss, and his boss, he says, I can't come right out and say he stole it, but he says, let's add 2 and 2 together. There's only 2 of us that have the key, and he's supposed to put the cash there, and the cash is not there. He says, I don't need to be the, I'm not the, you don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed to figure it out who took the money. So he fired him. Boom. I told him on the radio show. I mean, when I interviewed him live that day, I said, I don't blame you. Gone. So he he scammed his ex-boss, took the money, and started up with this Pacific Ocean, now dead from Fukushima radiation. Again, 9 days, not a single test. This is one of the big things people have been saying since August of 2014, is how people have donated thousands. I just shared with you how Jeff Palco had bought the boat. $16,000 lien on his home. That's one person I'm aware of. Dana has scammed thousands of dollars from people, all under the promise that he would do testing. Not a single test has ever been done to this day. Not a single test, folks. And yet he claims everything is dead from Fukushima. Well, hopefully you'll have enough common sense here and use your head and stop and think about it when these people are saying it's now dead in 2014, and here we are in 2017, and what are they telling you? Same bullshit. Like I said, Dirtbag just uploaded another video, and 33 minutes ago, it was 99%. 99%. 99. 99 means there's only 1% of the population of the fish left. If 99 is gone, that means there's no fish left, right? The fish at this point, come on, let's get real about this. 99% of the population of the fish is dead. It's gone. Well, then you can't find any fish. Then the fishery is closed. Automatically. It's closed. It has to be, right? Wrong. Sorry. Hate to say it. It's on. The fishing's on. I'm not saying that the fish aren't down. Absolutely. But you know what? I've been saying that for a long time. The salmon runs. They're up and down and up and down. In fact, one of the stories I read about a week ago, they were comparing these levels to the lowest levels they'd seen back in 1949. Oh, we didn't have no Fukushima back in 1949. Yeah, not even atomic testing in the Pacific Ocean. But yet somehow, the salmon in 1949, well, they didn't collapse to zero. They weren't 99% gone, but the Army Corps of Engineers, there's a certain dam where they've been counting them since those early years, and they said that this year was similar to what they counted back in 1949. But that's only one place. You have to remember that just because one location that's collapsed, the salmon runs are on all over the West Coast. I hope you understand that, right? So there's different places where you can fish this. You'd have to call up the different places, but the fact is, from Oregon to Washington, the fishing is on. There's no doubt about that. In fact, the fishing choices are expanding. And this is the part where I always tell Dane and the rest of those guys, well, in fact, I can't even say it anymore because I've been banned. I can't leave any comments. Why? Because they don't want anybody who's not showing their face who has great comments and great questions. So one of the things the questions I kept was posting to them, I'm like, hey guys, if the salmon is 99% dead, then how come they're still fishing the other fish? How come the other fish are still going on? Why is there still Chinook? I'm just saying, if the radiation is washed up here on the West Coast, because this is what they're telling everyone, you know, it's washed up on the West Coast, it's killed. There's so much radiation in the water, it's killing the whales. I kid you not, this is what they're telling people on YouTube. The radiation on the West Coast here is so high, it's killed off everything, and no testing. But the other fish, well, we don't know, but I guess they're all going to die soon. I don't know what to say to you, except all I know is they're still fishing. But I'm going to give you some truth about this, because this is one of the things people have said. They enjoy my videos, the fact that, not because I ramble on. Hell no. They enjoy the fact that I provide some truth. I provide some common sense. So we've had a problem on the West Coast, and I've said that before. If you haven't seen my videos, I've talked about this. The Pacific blob right there, this video here 11 months ago, and this one here when they're talking about the whales, I was talking about how the dead whales, the massive whales and dolphins washing up, you know, all those events. Well, guess what? They have been recorded in our history all the way back to the 14th century by Aristotle. Did you get that? Back in the 14th century, Aristotle was writing up on how these massive groups of whales and dolphins were washing up, and there wasn't a single nuclear plant on Earth back then. So stop it with the bullshit. I want a damn test. I'm sick and tired of people on YouTube scaring the bejesus out of me and don't have a single test. What's best is I shared with you in that specific video how the U.S. Navy had admitted they're going out on an exercise for the next, 5 years on the Pacific coast from Alaska all the way down to South America. And what were they going to do? Oh, they're going to be testing all types of anti-submarine sonars, anti-submarine bombs, blasts. And what did they admit? How it was going to kill millions in the Pacific Ocean. This is the Army's, this is the Navy's own admitting to all of it. That the testing they're going to do from Alaska all the way down to South America is going to be killing millions of sea life. Long story short, the dolphins and the whales, they have been washing up forever. Now, as far as the fish being reduced, because there is a problem on the West Coast. It's been hot. In fact, as I said, I live here on the West Coast, right on Vancouver Island. I have friends that work in the fishing industry. Everyone's talking about it. How the acidity of the water has changed. The pH level has changed. There's been a heating of the Pacific Ocean. Oh, it's not red hot. These are satellite images in this photo, just to let you know that there's a thing called the Pacific blob. I haven't kept up to it. Last time I checked in was roughly about 2 months ago, and it looked like this summer was going to be a little bit cooler. So the ocean may not be warming up quite as much. However, if you watch the video, you may recall how I was showing it wasn't the end of the world. It was certain species that were really affected who needed to live in a cooler water climate, or at least used to that cooler climate. And yet there was other fish that enjoyed living in a warmer ocean. And what had happened? Those fish had migrated northwards. In fact, the stories I shared with you back in, I believe it was 2016, how there was one diver from along the California coast. That person had been diving at the same location for the last 17 years of their life. And one of the things they'd noticed in 2015, 2016 was the abundance of new marine life. He says species that I would only see from time to time, and only one or two of them all of a sudden had emerged right into the habitat. They had made it their own habitat because the ocean had warmed up so much in those last 2 years that the fish felt safe enough, I guess you want to call it. the water was warmer in the pool. They didn't mind swimming to the deep end. So they went down to the deep end. They went all the way up here to, like I said, California. I had a friend of mine who had said this a couple of years ago. He says, you know, I've been scuba diving for a long time. Damn it, there's fish in the Strait of Juan de Fuca I ain't ever seen before. So just to share with you on a side note. So long story short, we need some testing. It's one of the things I've been saying. We need proper testing, and we can't be blaming every single death on Fukushima, especially, you know, the whales, the dolphins. They've been washing up for a long time, guys. And if the radiation in the Pacific Ocean was that strong in such a large amount and a large concentration to the fact where a herd of whales, or whatever you want to call it, a pack of whales, whatever you call it, if it would kill the entire herd pod after they've gone through the plume in the Pacific Ocean, then we'd have massive amounts of fish washing up constantly, every single day, because that massive plume, it's huge, man. So it's killing everything. It's diluted at this point. This is what I've been telling folks, but whatever. We want the data, we want the proof, and eventually I'll be the only guy on YouTube who's got a gamma spectrometer actually testing marine life. So if you don't like me now, hang tight. You'll love me later, because I know one thing is that you guys want data. You want proof. So I'm going to end my ramble here at this point. I've shared pretty much everything I wanted. If you're just tuning in now, I'm just announced that I'm about to do a radiation monitoring tour, the Fukushima 2017 radiation monitoring expedition. I'll come back to the comments in a moment. I'm not sure if there's any comments on this video right now, because this is kind of like last moment kind of thing, but I'll come to the comments. I just want to wrap this up to let you know, if you haven't seen, if you're just tuning in now, as soon as the show is done, the video is going to process. You'll be able to watch it in about 10 minutes. Other than that, I said I'm going to raise some funds. I'm asking for those of you who can afford it, if you can hit my PayPal button right up here, folks, okay? It's on the top right-hand corner of my channel. You click there, and it's going to bring you to this page. It takes a second to load up here because I have so many pages flying. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is, please do not send me an email to this email address. I can't respond to them, okay? Forgot the damn password to the thing. Long story short, don't send me an email there. If you want to send me an email, I'll give you a link in a moment. So if you're connecting up with this link, you have to pay in Canadian dollars. Don't worry if you have a PayPal account, it does the transition for you. However, if you do already have a PayPal account, I believe you can track me down by either using Radiation Monitoring Tour, and the other thing I believe to find my PayPal is by using the CD, if I'm not mistaken here. Hold on a second. Boy, oh boy, I'm having a hard time with this one, eh? Okay. I thought I could work this out, but okay, there we go. Let me just double check that. And it's CD, I believe. Yes. There's the other one, CD at connectingdots1.com, okay? That's the one you contact me. You can send your payment on PayPal if you already have a PayPal account. Other than that, you can hit the button I just showed you on my front of my YouTube channel, and it'll bring you right here. You can add the Canadian funds. If you already have a PayPal button, you can do a search, as I said, on that CD at connectingdots1.com, and you'll be able to send me US funds. So again, it's I don't know if I'm going to do cross Canada, but at the current moment, I'm planning on doing the West Coast, Dana's hometown, and if things go well, I'm going to take it eastward. I'm going to go back up to Lake Louise, where I found the high levels of radiation. Again, if you're just tuning into the show, you may want to come back here because I went over some of the stuff I'd done back in the day where I'd found high levels of radiation when I was doing a tour back then. So I want to go back to Lake Louise. I'm not sure if I'll go back to Red Deer, Edmonton, but Lake Louise is definitely in the picture. And as I did back then, folks, this is how I did the tour. I was filming everything as I went. You can see the old footage here. There was just a rainfall or whatever, a dark cloud that went over me when I was driving, and I stopped right there and I decided, well, I'm going to go out there and wipe down this windshield, and boy, oh boy, Was I ever shocked when this thing started squawking and just gave me unbelievable high levels. I was just like, whoa, holy jumping, you know. Wow. Anyways, I'm going to end the show here, but first I'm going to go to the comments. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. And let's go to the comments. Whoopsie daisy. Hold on a second. Let me get a... Crowd is building. Thumbs up. Okay. 2017, and we're still alive. Yeah. Dana Durnford, the nuclear proctologist, the dwarf. Yeah. He's a fraudster. Drive up to Michigan. I might. Guy, don't be surprised. Okay. I haven't said that, but over at my other channel, Silver Gold Man, I've been telling folks how I might do Meet the Trader tour. So, and that was going to go across USA. If I end up doing that cross USA tour, you better betcha I'll be bringing both of my Geiger counters, and I'll incorporate it as part of my travels, where I'll upload readings and do fallout across the USA. I know there's a lot of people that watch me from the US, so there's nothing they would love more than to have someone like myself with professional equipment doing real readings for them. So don't be surprised. I'm just telling you, don't be surprised. I'll work on my passport and see how the donations go. And yeah. Have I been to USA? Yes, I have been in the past. I've been a couple of times. Dana scams, Kevin scams, BP scams, Paul Begley scams. Yeah, unbelievable how they get all that money though, eh? So the blokes, yes, he is. Cannot see photo. I don't know which one. Fukushima has lots of wildlife. Yep. We want the truth from Chernobyl. Too many young people have died from cancer in Central Europe. Lake Michigan had nuke spill. Okay. Well, like I said, if I end up going over there, I'll stop in. You can even give me all the information if you can, if you know all about it. That'd be fabulous. But I'm going to end this here, folks. I don't want to chat too much. I just want to keep the video rather short. I've rambled on too long, to be honest with you. I'm going to end it here, and thank you very much. You're more than welcome to leave comments after the show is done if you want people to show them up, because unfortunately all your comments that I just showed are wiped away the moment I end this show, which I'm about to do right now. So thank you very much. Only send me donations if you can afford it. Please do not send me money if you're in tough times or you're just barely getting by. Please, please keep that money for yourself. Have a good summer with your kids, your grandchildren, whatever. Just don't send me any cash if you can't afford it, please. Okay? Thank you. Talk to you later, and stay updated. You're going to love what's coming out.